Okay, guys, welcome to Masters in USA. Let me share my screen. So today, what I'm going to briefly go through is, you probably know most of these topics. You probably heard from others, your seniors or some other career counselor about the Masters in USA. The topics that I'm going to cover are purely on how to select an university and how to apply for the funding and how much of importance the funding is and how to build your profile for any jobs, and also at the same time how is the current scenario amidst COVID-19. Okay, and of course I will also go through the H1B thing if time permits. uh, Starting from now, my name, so I am Rakesh, and I have some experience helping students with choosing the university over the past 6 to 7 years. I'm myself a master's student. I've been working for several years now, almost close to a decade. And my side job is to help students who are mostly misled or misinterpreted the master's education. So I'm going to um, explain or clear the confusion on some of the things that are most misrepresented or misinterpreted. Let me know if you are able to see my screen. You're able to see my slides? Okay, okay. So I will right away jump into the topic. Uh, Let me go to the whiteboard. Okay. So since Annie, she joined the previous session, she covered most of this discussion again. So I'm going to go through these topics again, but I will cover some of the points I did not cover the last time. Ron, since you are very new to this session, I'm going to give you some details in depth so that you don't get confused and you have all the information ahead. So today's, so let's start. Okay. So master's education in USA is close to $2 billion. Basically, um, the foreign students contribute to almost $2 billion to their economy, be universities or the business that run with the help of universities. So from their pocket, the foreign students, be it Indian students or Chinese students, they contribute a lot of money uh, to the American education system. So mass education is basically in a sense, in a way, it's a business with a promised quality education. So, for example, if you get a master's degree from Georgia Tech, let us assume Georgia Tech is better ranked than our top IIT university in India. So obviously, this is your first choice, right? So you cannot get admission into IIT university in most of the cases because it's very competitive in India. Number of students who apply for IIT might have a better profile than you. So you'll probably apply for better ranked university globally, like Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, uh, to name a few, are University of Texas Austin or University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, uh, Berkeley, and so on and so on. Okay, so these are some of the tech universities that are popular uh, among the Indian students applying for master's education. Ron, do you copy me so far? Are you able to hear me
Yeah,
properly?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Um, so I look like there are, okay, so Alok is still not joined. So we'll pass him the recording if you guys don't mind. Okay. So starting with the first topic. So as you can see in my slide, um, ranking and curriculum. So what makes you decide or shortlist a university? Most of the students' answer is, most of them say, um, the first factor that contributes to their to their shortlisting a university is U.S. News ranking. Okay, USnews.com ranking. That is the first factor. Second, um, recommendation by these three people, seniors. So who they went to undergrad with. For example, if you are in third year, first semester, um, and if your senior is in fourth year, second semester, and he applied for some universities, you will be in regular touch with him for his first semester in masters, and based on his expertise, you will be choosing a shortlisting university based on the funding, based on so we already covered the US ranking, based on the recommendation. So recommendation, this doesn't apply here. Recommendation by a education counselor, or a consultancy, or even professors. Third one is funding, on-campus jobs, and GA and RA or TA. GA and TA can be used interchangeably. Uh, you won't believe, but some people put weight on this number 4, which is after school life, um, how the party culture is, and how close it is in the proximity of the city. Like, for example, if a university is located somewhere in, for example, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign is in central Illinois. It's very far from Chicago downtown life. And at the same time, University of Illinois Chicago is in Chicago. So though UIUC is ranked little bit above UIC, people choose UIC because it's in Chicago, even though it's expensive, because Chicago party culture after school life is really great, especially during summer. Um, During the St. Patrick's Day, um, and there are some other few days of the year where Chicago is really great at. There are so many cultural events, festivals. When I say festivals, they are like youth festivals, some theme festivals. So there are so many. Like St. Patrick's Day is something I can't recall the others. There's one more I couldn't recollect. So they're fun events. So 365 days there's something going on. So you will always have some kind of meetup. The people who come from wealthy background, like people who are somewhere rich, they don't care spending extra dollars. They choose number 4. But most of the students I talk to, they go with these 1, 2, 3. USNewsRanking.com, recommendation by the seniors, someone who did educational counseling like me or someone else, someone who are really a professional, who are certified to do that, and some consulting, some paid consulting. There are so many consulting firms. Yakut is one of them. You probably know more than me because each year new companies show up and they do real good consulting. Some do bad consulting, some do good consulting. And the professor might be this is an interesting recommendation there. Professors usually don't recommend universities. So example, if you're coming from a tier 3 college in India, when I say tier 3, there are IIT, there are NIT, and there are regional technical universities, and there are colleges that are affiliated to these technical universities. So usually tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, the professors will always be doing some kind of research work with their sister universities or sister colleges in USA or Australia or somewhere abroad. If they have worked with professor in USA, they might recommend some of their smart students to continue that research they did in IIT or in India, uh, to continue them in some of the top league universities, like I mentioned here in USA. So they will be getting research assistantship on arrival, and they have to not pay any single dime from their pocket. So the professor recommendation also counts if considering the professor is a good professor and is already working on some kind of a research program with the American university. Does it all make sense to you? I'm going to clear the screen and start with the US news ranking first. So US news ranking. Um, US news ranking is mostly misinterpreted, mostly because, example, if University A has a rank of say 27 and University B has a rank of 83, um, most students go pay high amount of dollars for University A, considering it is better ranked. But you need to make sure that you need to know one thing for sure is that US News website is a private website. Its ranking is purely based on certain factors. So it is not always true that 83rd university is a better suitable profile for you rather than the university that ranked at 27. What I mean to say is that your engineering school might have a better research opportunities, uh, better curriculum that suits you more than the university that is ranked in the number 27th. So uh, that being said, what I'm going to tell you is always make sure you filter universities based on the, for example, if you're a triple E student or a electronics and communication students, make sure you go through their departmental website, professor name and what courses he is offering, professor name, what course he's offering and what research he's on doing. You have to do a lot of homework. So in my case, I went through at least 80 to 90 universities, page by page on the website, and I shortlisted around 52 public universities and 3 private universities. So you might ask what's the difference between public and private universities? Public universities get a lot of funding from the state government, and private universities are two types, for profit and non-profit. Always make sure that you choose non-profit university. Public universities are always non-profit because there are some technical issues when you apply for H-1B visa through via for-profit. There is a huge chance it gets rejected. So always make sure you get a high-ranked private university, non-profit, and any public university will do. Public universities are reputed and they're run by the state, so their accreditation will be always strong and up to date because that is one regulation that government education bodies will make sure that their public universities are accredited. So from these 52 public and 3 universities, I shortlisted around 12 to 18 universities. And I emailed each professor asking for RA and graduate assistantship. And also I sent my resume and cover page asking them to set up an interview for RA or GA. Unfortunately, all the 12 and 18 universities, they only gave me reply saying that we can only provide you RA and GA coming from second semester, but that is also not guaranteed. They will make sure that my grades are up to the mark in the first semester. Basing on my performance, they will consider me for interview, not the actual approval of G or TA or RA. So based on my grades. So that brings to the question like, how will they make sure that my grades are up to the mark? So how do I choose the classes? So the first semester is always critical. You make sure that you select the 400 level classes or at least one 500 level classes that has a professor who has GA and TA under him. So these 3 classes, you will take at least 3 classes per semester. You can go 2 classes, but you need special permission from your international students association, or international, not association, international student office, or DSO, to legally permit you take 2 classes. So first semester you can take under professor who has a prospect to GATA position open under him for next semester. Make sure you get A grade in them, and then you can ask him, do I now qualify for RA or GA or TA? So professor will look into your profile and he see you did well and your programming skills are good or special skills are good. He might consider you for the interview. If you get approved, you will get full fee waiver in most of the cases. So you will end up only spending fee for first semester. But make sure that you get this enrolled in these classes. So that is why planning is everything. Okay, does it make sense so far? Now I have met 3 students who are going for fall 2020. Let me tell you, they have deferred their admission for spring to 2020. Why I'm picking these 3 students in particular, because student A, let's call his name as Mark. Mark is from from Kolkata. He has 3 years work experience. Mark has Java scripting experience and Python experience. So he got full funding from Kansas State University and Michigan State University from first semester. So Mark, even before he joined his first semester, he has full funding, GA, not GA, sorry, RA, research assistantship, with $1,600 salary of stipend per month. So it is possible to get full funding from the first semester even before you landing in USA. Why I'm explaining all this? Because most students pay on average $60,000 to $70,000 these days for top ranked universities, but end up getting no or a research assistantship in any of the semester. Why does it matter? Remember that the university is getting its rank because it got a lot of funding. So when they rank a particular university or particular department, they see how much funding is available, how many RAGA positions are open, like the success of professors ranking. So even the professor who are PhDs, it's a minimum requirement. They evaluate their technical presentation and their reputation in their field, particular technical field like EEE, IEEE, so and so. If you're not utilizing funding, if you do not have a RA approved in second or third semester, that means you are not utilizing the university rank. So all the 67,000 you are spending for nothing, nothing but empty degree with your master's degree. Did someone join? Okay. So hi. Okay. So should not join the audio yet. So okay. So let me take this. So you are just having a master degree with your name on it. So when you go for interviews, you have no RA experience, just 1 or 2 years experience in India with some language experience like Python or Java, and project experience during masters. So most students assume since they join top ranked universities, just a blank master degree with the name on it will get them a job. This is the most misconception. This is the most mislead information. Most jobs only look at your work experience. Even if you, so the only time they will consider your university name if it's top ranked university, like top 20 ranked university. They consider you the top 20 ranked because they maintain their ranking consistently, and they make sure that every student that is enrolled get enough research exposure. So the companies that are hiring them, they know that this university doesn't go after the dollars of the student, but provides some quality education. So that is why it is very important to have RA and GA. If if you have no promising reply from the professors or the university admission department that there are some positions open and you qualify, I will skip that university even if it is top ranked, like in 38, 39. I'm only going there spending a lot of money for the brand name. It's like buying a Mercedes because and spending $30,000 more for the car compared to like a Acura or Lexus just because Mercedes has a better brand name. If Mercedes doesn't give me the features that Acura or Lexus gives me, I will definitely don't go for a bench car because I don't have the required features like a V6 engine or whatever the luxury premium features I'm looking for. So here brand doesn't matter. The features does matter. So make sure even if it's low rank university, the factors that you need to consider is one, there are not a lot of Indian students. There are certain universities that are, for example, the classic example is University of Texas, Dallas. Oh my God, there are so many Indian students. During the orientation, they run two big size tourist bus, to move the students from airport to pick the airport to the university housing. So there are a lot of Indian students. They're just making they giving admissions into multiple departments. So they came up with the Tyler program, and they have so many departments under computer science. So they have so many students. The campus is full of hundreds of Indian students. So they will compete with RA, GA, teaching assistantship, and on-campus jobs. So make sure the student that university is not crowded. University of Texas Dallas is still a very good university. If you get an admission from it, I will still say go ahead with the admission, but make sure you are aware of these things. Like there are so many students. At the end of the graduation, if you do not have RA, there are still Indian students who have RA and full funding waiver. But if you are not among them, this is the calculated risk you are taking. If you're not among the RA students and you belong to no RA or no on-campus job student, you are going graduating out with a pale resume that has nothing on it. So your job prospects go down considerably. You understand what I'm saying? So that is a very important factor to consider. How many Indian students are enrolled? If there are so many Indian students, do they all of them have on-campus jobs to begin with? If they say there are no on-campus jobs, even in second semester, do not go, please. Why? Because on-campus jobs will cover your personal expenses. If you are paying $60,000 for masters or $50,000 per masters and spending $10,000 on personal expenses per annum, most students end up spending 15,000 if they're living in a city or using university housing. You are on a burden like $75,000 when you graduate, plus another 15,000 for second year, around $90,000. It will take at least 5 years for you to clear this debt. Considering you got landed in the job in OPT and you continued 3 years OPT and H1B. Now you might ask, what are my chances of OPT and CPT and H1B visa? So that is the next discussion we are going to enter. So I will take a short break here and I will let you ask me questions for the things we discussed so far. Anyone have any questions so far? Yeah, anyone have any questions? Pavitra, I know you just joined. Um Ron, I know you just joined. One, two, three. It looked like one person has left the chat. It's okay, Ron. It's important you to be on because you are new. Pavitra, you joined late. So, any questions on Pavitra regarding the master's education in USA? Or I believe you are a PhD scholar. So, any questions so far on what we discussed? Ron, go ahead and ask anybody
No, no, no,
any questions.
no, no questions.
No questions? Pavitra, do you have any questions in particular? Okay, so I'm going to the next topic. Um, so the next topic is job after masters, and what is CPT and what is OPT, and everything. Uh, so let's talk about the CPT. So CPT is nothing but when you finish minimum of 8 months of master's education. For example, if you're starting fall 2020, you will be eligible for CPT starting summer 2021. Okay, so CPT is nothing but internship and co-op program. So basically, what happens is there will be a job fair at the end of every semester. So during that semester, there will be a stalls like in rows and columns. There will be each company representative or HR in the stalls. They will be collecting your resume and they will look at your resume. Sometimes they interview right over there, and then they will take you to the second round interview on their in their field office or in the technical HR rooms, okay, or even Skype. In my case, they did Skype interview. So you will drop your resume at each stall. Unfortunately, most resume they will end up in um, yeah. So they will most of the resume they will end up in recycle bin. Uh, the first thing they will look for is experience, years of experience. Second thing they will look for is your RA, GA experience and your languages like Java, Python, etc. And fourth and most least but not last but not the least is if you are a citizen, if you require a visa sponsor. The reason they look into this fourth factor is in most of the cases your co-op will turn into full-time. Your CPT will turn into full-time during your OPT. Most of the master students who come with a sound profile and who end up scoring RA and GA, they will get, in most of the cases, they will get CPT during summer. And most of them turn into a full-time employment during OPT. So after the OPT 3-year terms end, considering they get extension, the client will be interested to sponsor H-1B visa. H-1B visa, during the sponsoring H-1B visa, if you if there is a green card compete, if there is an employee with you like in your team with a green card, they will prefer him for the full-time role over you because you require a visa sponsor. So even if you go, I mean, before going that far, remember that getting CPT is not easy when your university has 300 to 400 international students and most of them have pale resumes, like they don't have any previous work experience. They just go there and some projects, some regular resume with no GitHub profile. GitHub profile is the profile where uh, you will post your source code of your project codes. Okay, most computer science students will have a GitHub profile and LinkedIn profile. It's very important to have a LinkedIn profile and a sound 3 years experience. These recent times, I hear most of the students saying that I only have 1 year internship after my BTech. I have 1 year internship experience with a startup. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a startup or internship. What it matters is 1 year experience. So do not let yourself down saying I only have internship, I only have startup experience. So when I say a sound experience, experience that you really count it as experience by not merely saying, oh, I only have internship experience. So 3 years experience, when I say 3 years experience, for example, you work for a company like Wipro or Accenture, or say some companies like Verizon Business Solution. There are so many of these in USA. Essentially, the French IT company, Atos. There are some, and CTS is also an American IT company. So these companies have a lot of American clients. Why I'm stressing American clients is, if you have already American client exposure, work experience exposure for 2 years, 3 years, your chance of picking your resume being picking your resume during this job fair and promoting yourself to second round of interview is way too high, because you already have American experience, though you're working from India. You already work for an American client. So make sure before coming for masters you have such kind of work experience, especially in today's masters education. Now you might ask me why you are stressing this now. Most students come here without job experience. See, that used to be the case till 2014, 2015. So you might ask me what happened in 2015. In 2015, around 1,000 students were sent back even though they had F1 visa, port of entry, because these students were coming with no previous work experience. No, that is not the reason for them to being sent back. They went to the universities, very low rank profile. The no job previous experience comes into the picture now because they're going to the low profile universities because they don't have any previous experience, nor good GRE, nor TOEFL. Even though they got visa by chance, CBP, the border patrol, CBP officials, they sent them back saying they're not qualified enough to do masters in USA. 1,000 students, most of them went to a low profile university in California, Silicon Valley, and some in New Jersey, and so their aim is to just come for masters, graduate within 1 year or so, and go apply OPT and find IT job via staffing agencies like consulting. Now let me tell you guys, in 2008, 38,000 students came from India alone for masters. In 2016, 1,67,000 students came from India alone for masters. Number of H1B for visas allocated for master quota is 20,000 for all countries. 80% of them will go for Indians. And the other remaining 65,000, you can still eligible. So they will, when it's fill over, they will spill into this category and they will be eligible for H1 on them, considering that they're picked in the lottery. Then since the incredible amount of masters are coming, every year number of H1B applications are going to 2,35,000, sometime even 3 lakhs. So what I'm trying to say is, when your H1B don't get picked, what are your options? Most students come back to India with 3 years job experience plus 6 months CPT experience and join the same client in India, which they're working in USA for decent salary like 2 lakhs per month. So that's a very good salary, 1 lakh per month. Rest, they continue by joining second masters, day 1 CPT, day 1 CPT. What is day 1 CPT? After, say example, if you graduated from University of Michigan, okay, you graduated and you did three-year OPT and you didn't get H1B sponsored. So you will again join some University of Cumberland in Texas, for example. This will offer you day 1 CPT. You will doing second masters like MBA or something, and you will be doing job at the same time. So there is a flexibility in taking classes in USA. You can take them evenings when your job is done, like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. classes. Most master's classes will held in the evenings because most people who go for master's education will be already having a full-time job. For example, I already have a master's degree, but now I'm considering having a second master's in cybersecurity by taking online classes and evening classes. I am 29 years old. I'll be turning 30. So I'm considering a second master's now. And the classmates I will be sitting with will be 40 years old or 45 years old. They won't be having time to take classes during the day. So most students will join the university again and take evening classes to keep the status, visa status. So this is how it works in the H1B, CPT and OPT. So I think it's very clear, right? What is a master's degree and what factors you have to consider before coming for masters, and how much important the funding is, and how ranking can be misguiding. Okay, so this is the scope of this this call we have today, this presentation. Now the last topic, if you guys are still interested, that I would like to talk is how are things because of COVID-19. Let me end this class with the COVID-19. Okay, let me tell you something. Because of COVID-19, many in India are assuming that economy is down in USA. Let me tell you something. Economy was doing very great until February 2020. Unemployment was all-time low in the last decade, 3.5%. All companies are doing heavy hiring, and master students who are in OPT were getting jobs. Now, what happened during the March 2020 is economy was still good, but unemployment went to 15% high. Even during the Great Depression, the unemployment was not this high. The only reason the unemployment was this high because retail industry was under lockdown. Retail industry and airlines, entertainment industry, um, theme parks, they all Uber, they all ran into losses. So at least 20,000 jobs were lost. That doesn't mean economy is doing bad. Economy is doing good. The only thing is worry is unemployment. There is no recession yet, and master students are still getting jobs. But there are many students for no jobs for 5 months because most students graduate in December. They have to get job within January and February. So who couldn't get job within these 2 months? They are on bench. So they are doing bad only because hiring is frozen. Not because of recession, because of COVID-19, hiring is frozen temporarily only, temporarily only. So there will, when it reopens, the jobs will reopen. But one thing you have to make sure is OPT, you have to find job within first 3 months. If you don't find, you will not get extension of OPT. You have to return back to India, or you have to join masters again, or you should at least get H1B visa sponsored. So this is the complication now. So yes, there is some depression going on among the OPT world because of the hiring freeze. Yes, things are not doing well. Should students come for masters during spring semester? It depends. If you have full funding, yes, please come. Can you drive a car? Please come. If you don't drive a car, you have to share public transport. What if you get sick because of this virus? Make sure you have a good health insurance. Also note that if you have asthma and all those pre-existing conditions, do not come, please, because the public transport is very easy to catch virus. So if you are a healthy person, you can drive car, you have funding, please do come. Masters is a good choice for you. And I always encourage students to go for master's degree. Like I said, if you can't get admission in IIT for your master's, you might end up getting admission in Georgia Tech and some prestigious colleges which are ranked above IIT, and you can have a bright future. But don't end up spending not having RA or GA with a pale resume with no existing experience and be this pool, you know, like where you're not able to find job within 3 months. because your resume didn't catch enough eyes of the recruiting team or who are recruiting. Yeah. So that's that is how the current existing scenario is. So any questions so far, Alok or yeah? So Arun, I think you made it finally. I will share this presentation with you. So Pavitra and Ron, do you both of you have any questions? Ron, do you have any questions, Ron?
No. So everything
Okay,
was clear.
yeah. So this is we can discuss about this all day. Pavitra, do you have any questions? So we can discuss about this. Yeah, go ahead with your question. So we can discuss about master education in detail, but this is how the general outline is.
Can you
Uh,
share it with me as well, the recording?
yeah, sure. Once it is closed, I will share it. So I'm going
Yeah.
to close this session. You can send me messages on the group chat or individually. I can answer your query. Okay?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, Arun Karthik here.
Yeah, Arun.
Yeah, sorry, I joined late.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to share the presentation with you.
Yeah, sure. See, what about the